Blazing, flame, radio.
Please excuse this interruption. This is only a test. I need you to turn the device that you're listening to us on as loud as you can. It's your boy Dub 216. I had to sit down with my man Speech from Arrested Development. We spoke on their older music, their new music, and their presence across seas right now. You tuned in to the best. Flame up.
Blazing, flame, radio.
You tuned in to Blazing Flame Radio. It's your boy Dub, the host. I promised y'all an interview with my man Speech from Arrested Development. Guess who I have on the line right now? Studio audience, put your hands together for my man Speech. How you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm doing great, bro. I'm doing real good.
That's good, man. I want to set it up properly, man. I got new music. I got your new music and everything. But I have, our radio station is based on independent artists, you know, that's trying to get their music heard by the masses. And we pretty much put a vehicle together for that. So we have a lot of independent artists listening, you know, and knowing what you guys do and how long you've been doing it for, man. I just want to, you know, kind of like pick your brain on experiences and things like that, along with promoting what you got going on now. That's cool, bro?
Well, yeah, it's all good. You're breaking up sometimes. I mean, it's my phone, but every once in a while you break up. So
okay.
If I don't answer, that's probably why I just didn't hear you.
Okay, all right, so cool. I think I just said that right now. So pretty much, I just want you to set it up, man. Just pretty much introduce yourself and let the listeners know, you know what I'm saying, what you've brought to the table in this game and what you're doing right now in this game.
Word up. Okay, well, my name is Speech from the group Arrested Development. We've been out since like '87, so gosh, it's almost 30 years. You know, we do like our style of hip hop. We call it life music, and the whole point of it was hearing so much hip hop music that was celebrating death. You know, we was talking about killing one another. We was talking about, you know, ready to die. You know, and not talking about the in between. So even when people was talking about how black men died so early, whether it be because of crime or because of health or whatever, we wasn't talking about the in between. So our music was talking about what do we do in the meantime? How are we supposed to try to live this life? And so it was a movement. Right. And it started off in '87. We had two really big records with major labels. Then we started doing indie joints. And you know, I do solo music as well. So my solo career, you know, is extremely big in Japan. And you know, I released 5 solo records, and all of them top 10 hits in Japan. Wow. And in fact, I just got back from Japan 2 nights ago.
Wow, man.
From Arrested Development tour. So.
Hey, can you speak on that, bro? As far as like.
Right now, we're anywhere. We tour in Africa, you know, Europe, Canada, so on and so forth. Of course, the States.
Oh, that's what's up, bro. Let me ask you a question. You just can you like speak on the feeling that people in different countries feel what you do? You know what I'm saying? That a person in a whole different, you know what I'm saying, country gravitates to what you're feeling in your music, man. How does that make you feel, man? That's got to be a great feeling.
Well, you know, it's been a while now since I first felt that. But when I remember when we first went overseas, and we got to do that pretty early on, and it was before a lot of our peers were going overseas. And for some reason, our music really resonated with, like I said, Africa and Europe, initially then Japan, and then it kept moving from there, Australia. And it was real trippy just to be in a whole other country, sometimes where they don't even speak the English language. Right, but they was totally involved in music, and the shows would be, and they still are to this day, but even back then, it was so electric, and people was just totally clamoring to try to just experience the live experience with Arrested Development. I mean, packed clubs, sweaty walls, you know, just everybody soaking wet because it was just packed in there, and just playing.
Wow, man, that's like I say, that's almost surreal to think of. Like you say, as far as people not even knowing the language, but yet they still jiving and jamming to what you're doing, man. That's definitely what's up,
You
man.
know, I agree, man. And you know what I've learned over the years is that music truly does have a universal language to it, and that when you're coming from someplace sincere, it's bound to reach people in a very real way.
Right.
And no matter where they're from, it may not do as well as we did. I mean, we had major label support, and that does make a large difference in how many people you're able to reach. But at the same time, even our newer stuff, like even the stuff you're going to play tonight, I mean, it gets the same reaction. It just doesn't have as many people that know about it. So there's a little difference as far as the numbers of people that get it. But the reaction, when you really put your heart and soul into it, it tends to turn out pretty well, and that's what we definitely strive to do. And I'm the producer of the group, and I'm also the lyricist for the group. So, the main lyricist. So it's something I'm really proud of.
That's definitely what's up, man. I say that a lot on the show to different artists as far as how important it is to keep you and your music, to keep your music real, because selling yourself and putting yourself in your music is always better than trying to keep up with an image.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. And that way you ain't really gotta work hard, to remember what your image and brand was. You know what I mean? You just gotta be yourself.
Just be
and,
you.
It makes it a lot easier. The journey to be a lot easier.
So you are the founding member of Arrested Development.
Yeah, I started the group back in 1987. I was at an art school called the Art Institute of Atlanta, and this dude, which would later be headliner, he was, I put up a flyer looking for a DJ because I used to DJ, and when I started rhyming, I put an S in front of my name because I used to be Peach. I used to be DJ Peach because I was light skinned, and when I put an S in front of it, I became Speech, and I was looking for a DJ. I put a flyer up, and he was looking at the flyer, and I was like, hey, what's up? And we started talking, and before we knew it, we clicked, and he became the DJ for the group, and I named him headliner, and we started touring together and doing stuff locally in Atlanta, because we're actually based out in Atlanta.
Okay.
A lot of people think we're from Tennessee because of our songs. But, that was the start of the whole crew. And
so how did that come about? Not to cut you off, but you from Atlanta, and you come up with the song Tennessee.
Well, honestly, that song was like a prayer based on the people that I had just lost. I lost a lot of people in my life over the years through violence and through other things. And at this time, my grandmother, who I spent all my summers with in Tennessee, she died, and my family went to her funeral down in Tennessee. And it's a real rural part of Tennessee, very backwoods country. We were all there celebrating her life. And in that same week, my only brother, Terry, my blood brother, he died as well of an asthma attack. And, when you go through two major deaths in the same week, it just takes the breath out of you. So the whole take me to another place, take me to another land, make me forget all that hurts me and help me understand your plan was a prayer. And it's like, Lord, I've really been real stressed, down and out, losing ground. Although I'm black and proud, problems got me pessimistic. Brothers and sisters keep messing up. Why does it got to be so damn tough? It just goes on, just talks about real stuff that was going on in my mind. And what's funny about that song is that it was the last song that we recorded for that album. It wasn't the first one, so it ended up being the first single we released because I was so emotional, and I knew that I wanted that record to be the first thing to represent the group. And I'm glad it was. It did really well.
So when you put that one down, you knew right then that was the one.
It was, and this is pre-Drake. This is he at the crossroads and Bone Thugs and Harmony and all of it. Where hip hop started to gain more melody. We were doing melody at a time when it wasn't being done.
Right.
So, Run DMC used to boast that I rap, I do not sing.
Right.
And that used to be sort of the mantra of hip-hop. This was prior to Lauryn Hill. This was prior to the Fugees. So I mean, you got to look back at those days when I started rhyming but putting it in melody form. It was very unique, and I knew that there was something cool about this. Now, you know, you had old school crews like, you know, Funky 4+1 who would sing, you know, and even Sugar Hill Gang who would sing like little parts of their rhymes like, and we gonna keep moving, rocking to the music, everybody doing it, rock the music, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
But it wasn't like whole melodic rhymes, and so that was a different thing at the time, and I knew that it would be a very fresh approach for the music because I'm a studier of hip hop. I love it. I've been loving it since it came out, so I knew that this was a very fresh thing, and so yeah, I definitely had a feeling that this could do well.
Okay, that's definitely what's up. Cause like sometimes people, you know, when they do music, like they may have a favorite song, and it's not the one that everybody else likes. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like it's cool to know that when you laid that down, knowing that what you was going through, you believed in it. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that it was the one, and like I say, it was definitely a dope song. I didn't know the full story behind it, man, but I truly respect it more knowing that, man.
Yeah, well, thank you, bro. It was a very tough time, and even when you look at the video, I mean, you know, purposely, you know, because okay, here's like our first single, and I purposely didn't want to show a lot of emotion. I mean, we were fired up that we had our first video, this was our first shot, but we purposely wanted to try to make it sort of more melancholy and sort of down because of the subject matter of the song, even though it has an upbeat feel to it. But what we were talking about, we didn't want it to get lost in the sauce. So, you know, we purposely sort of tried to be nonchalant about how we looked and just how we executed that song visually too, so people could try to get it. So it's a cool, you know, it's a cool story. It's a cool difference of how we was trying to come with it.
That's definitely dope, man. Coming up and growing up in Atlanta, bro, what were your influences in music? Who did you listen to, or who inspired you to want to start, you know, to pick the pen up and grab the pad, man? Who you want to credit that to?
Well, it was a lot of people, to be honest. I mean, early on, it was soul music, like, you know, the Whispers and Marvin Gaye and, you know, Cameo and stuff like that. Because, see, I actually grew up in Milwaukee, and I moved to Atlanta. And so, you know, being in Milwaukee, it was like the house music scene was in Chicago. But we used to love the Miami bass scene, which like, you know, 2 Live Crew and MC Shy D in Atlanta, and then we used to rock LA stuff like, you know, Dr. Dre and the World Class Wrecking Crew back in those days.
Yeah.
You know, we used to rock a lot of stuff everywhere. And of course, New York, like Eric B and Rakim and LL Cool J and Run DMC and Houdini and all of that. So we was on everything, and so you know, I think I was really inspired by a lot of soul music. But then when it came to hip hop, which, you know, for me, I was introduced to it in the late 70s. I wasn't from New York, so I would hear Rapper's Delight, and that was the first rap song I'd ever heard.
Okay.
And it was a deep thing because I was influenced by Rapper's Delight, by Sugar Hill Gang, but then also, you know, Run DMC, but later on Public Enemy, De La, you know, Tribe Called Quest, Jungle Brothers, you know what I'm saying? All of these people would deeply inspire me. You know, just to... What it really did is, as opposed to it made us want to copy them, it made us know that we could do more than what was out there. Because like De La was so experimental. You know, they had released 3 Feet High and Rising, and at the time, that was one of the most experimental. It still is probably one of the most experimental hip hop records ever. And you know, it gave everybody else permission, in a sense, to do what we wanted to do. And I remember reaching out to Pop. I didn't know him personally, but I reached out to him, got his number from some friends, and, you know, I shared with him one of our cuts, Radio Revolution, and tried to get us a record deal. This is before we ever came out. And he was cool. I mean, he shopped at the Tommy Boy, which is who they were signed to at the time, and, you know, it was a good look. It was like, you know, we were all trying to be individual and trying to be different, and he liked where we were coming from, and, of course, I was a huge fan of him, so it was a good vibe.
That's definitely what's up. I want to ask you a question because I'm first of all, you say you from Milwaukee. I stayed in Milwaukee for a little time. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, but I stayed a little time up in Milwaukee, man. It's very
Okay.
very similar to Cleveland, though. Very similar.
It is. I
But
agree. I agree.
but knowing like I'm 35, man, I really I really pride the fact that I got the tail end of some of the 70s hip hop, but the 80s hip hop, the 90s hip hop. You know, I pride myself on knowing that era of music because I believe that that was the purest form, some of the purest form of music in hip hop.
I agree.
I want to ask you, knowing the type of artist that you are and the lyricist that you are, and like you say, you put feeling into your music. How do you feel about the direction that hip hop has headed from, where it derives from, and how do you feel, where it's going?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, first of all, I think that where it's come from is, it's sad because it has, instead of it becoming more diverse and reaching new boundaries musically, I think that it has actually become more similar to each other. So every song has become more similar to the last one. And we used to pride ourselves on a lot of things in hip hop. We used to talk about, trying to be different, trying to make our own way, and totally be diverse. And that was celebrated, whereas today, that's almost like a death warrant. If you're trying to do something, like if somebody does an up-tempo track right now, they're pretty much killing themselves as far as mainstream hip-hop is concerned.
Yeah.
You likely won't get played because everything is downbeat, everything is much slower.
Right.
And so if you even decide to use different kicks and snare sounds and you try, and it's at least on mainstream radio, you probably won't even get played again. I mean, you gotta play something that's more in the trap type of feel or something like that, or else you just won't even get recognized. So it never was like that for us. I mean, there was people like MC Hammer doing fast dance music that at the time a lot of us felt was real popping. But he was so good of a performer that we couldn't ignore him because it was like his shows were so high energy and people enjoyed him so much that there was no way you could ignore that. And then at the same time, coexisting with him was Two Live Crew, and they was all about strip clubs and women and thongs, and you couldn't ignore that because it was so powerful. But then at the same time, Public Enemy was talking about fighting power.
Right.
You had, Tribe Called Quest that was sort of on some more bohemian, like New York stuff. I mean, it was just, and you had Dr. Dre and them on the West Coast. So it was just everything coexisted at the same time, and it was all hip hop instead of it having to, like, you have to fit into this particular mode or mold in order to be considered real, or at least in order to be considered competitive, I should say.
I agree with that, man. It's definitely a mold, man, and it's sad because the up and coming artists who are younger, who haven't had the pleasure of living through that era of music, man, they really believe this is what it is, and I think hip hop. I look at hip hop as a culture. I don't look at it as a genre. I think it's way deeper than just a selection of music.
Right.
So I think it's important.
I agree, and I think one of the worst things about the new generation is they're talented as ever, but they have separated themselves, and maybe they didn't do it. Maybe radio did it to them, but somebody has separated them from the past of hip hop. So a lot of them don't even know a lot of old school hip hop groups. They don't even know who they are. Like, I talk to young people and they're like, who's Public Enemy? Or who's Run DMC?
Yeah.
They don't even know who they are. So it's like you said a second ago, where they don't realize how much they have to pull from as far as inspiration. They have a lot more that they can pull from as far as inspiration. And a lot of other people are selling their souls as far as they're deciding to become someone that they're not in order to try to make it in the music industry. So, like, I used to complain about it all the time, and I still do complain about it, but instead of just complaining, like my wife and I, we started a school. And so now we opened up a school here in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
And it's called Victory Spot. And so at Victory Spot, now we're training up, young artists, hip-hop, but otherwise from everything from strings to beatboxing. And we're training up artists to tell them and help teach them that there's this large selection of inspiration that you can draw from instead of just, a small little slither. And it's empowering to them, and it's encouraging because there's a lot of artists that are looking for another route that they want to go, but they just don't know how to be supported within that route, so they don't do it.
That's powerful, man. Knowing what you guys bring to hip hop as far as the music, and then knowing that your passion extends beyond that into helping others and to preserving the life of hip hop, man. That's great, man. I salute you, bro.
Oh, bro, I appreciate it, no doubt. I mean, it is. But it's funny, bro, because you said you were 35, I'm 47, and there was a time in hip hop where it wasn't guaranteed to make it, and so people like myself and maybe yourself too, and others before us, we felt this need to champion hip hop. It wasn't a matter of just playing hip hop; it was a matter of championing it. We had to fight for it. Like, we became activists for hip hop, and that's what I did. Like, in all the cities that I lived in, a lot of the times I was the first to do to push hip hop on the air, or the first to play hip hop on the air, or that's what I was sort of shaped to do from the early days of hip hop. So to this day, it's just like you said when you said I salute you. That's just part of my blood, is trying to raise up the next artists to do what we were doing, which was, man, let's make this thing go into the next generation the right way.
Yeah, I agree, man, and that's exactly what I try to do at the station. We play a mixture of industry, and independent music, man. And a lot of the artists that I get, man, a lot of them are great talent, man, and they're not in the mode of, like you say, you got to play this mode to get played on the air. You know what I'm saying? Or get spins on the air.
Right.
A lot of them aren't in that mode, man, and I'm so happy to be a vehicle for them to be heard, because I don't think they'll be able to get pushed like that from what the norm is. You got to have a lot of money to break the norm.
Exactly right. I agree.
So knowing when you guys donated the money to Nelson Mandela, because you, like I said, you do a lot of things to extend. Like they always say, the biggest blessing is to be a blessing, and I just want you to speak on some of those things also.
Well, apartheid at the time was rolling, and it was they was trying to wrap it up and trying to get rid of it, trying to elect the president of Nelson Mandela. And basically, Arrested Development, since our beginnings, we would go into the roughest of hoods, the roughest of communities, projects, everywhere we would go on tour. Our day would start off with us eating breakfast, going down to the hood, speaking to the people in the hood. And I had hired a special woman that used to roll with Bob Marley. Her name is Vera Tompkins, out of D.C. Her whole job was to make sure that we had a schedule. Any city we went to, we would be able to go into the roughest neighborhoods and talk straight to the people. So that was our job. So after we ate breakfast, we would go into the hood. We talk about black power. We talk about black resistance, about self-determination. Then we would go to sound check at about 1 or 2, load in, sound check. Then we go back to the hotel, chill for a minute, and go do the show later that night. So it was always in the activism. So when it was time for us to go to South Africa for some gigs, we decided, okay, how are we going to, continue this activism in South Africa, where by this time apartheid had ended and Nelson Mandela was a new president, and everybody was on pins and needles there because they were wondering, can you imagine if we was living in a police state here in the state, and we couldn't leave at a certain time, curfews, we had to show our ID every single place we went.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden things changed one day, and you're not sure, you live for generations one way, and now you've got a whole new way of living, and everybody's on pins and needles wondering, is this thing going to stick? Is this for real? Are we going to be bamboozled, run amok? What's going to happen to us? So we go there and we bring, which is not a lot of money, but for us as a new hip hop group, first album, it was a nice amount. We brought $20,000 and gave it to the ANC, the African National Congress,
right,
which was when where Nelson Mandela came out of. So our thing was, let's donate, but then also let's do some activism. So we hit the ground in South Africa, and we're with this dude named Antoine Fuqua, who's the dude who directed Training Day with Denzel Washington, okay. And he directed a number of other great movies too. But anyway, we're with him because he's going to shoot a music video of us as well in South Africa, a song called United Front. And so we go into the roughest of neighborhoods there, and we start talking to the people. And then here comes Nelson Mandela. He comes out to speak as well, which was a total surprise to us. It was buck wild. It was crazy. Everybody started. All the people of the township started running from the townships just to get a glimpse of him. And this is a man, spent all of these years, decades in jail.
Yeah.
Incredible dude. And, it was just one of the most moving things ever, man. And I mean, we gave that money so proudly to the ANC, but also, even more than the money, we got a chance to talk to the people and, give our 2 cents of encouragement to a people that at the time, like I said, was on pins and needles, just wondering what was the future of South Africa. Man. So it was a real cool time.
I want to know, man, because you seem to have a well, not seem, man. You have a great perspective on things and an outlook on things, and the way that you handle business as far as being a vehicle to help and extend the life of hip hop, man. Did someone sit you down at an early age and say, "Hey, man, look, man, you're gonna be doing this hip hop thing. You're gonna have a voice, man. Use it in this way," or is this something that just is in you?
Well, I think it's in me, but it's in me because of a few things. It wasn't that somebody sat me down, but I will say this: my parents were activists. So my mom and dad, both of them, were civil rights activists. My mom, she owns a black newspaper that's been in existence for 30-odd years. 39 years. So she's it's the largest black newspaper in Wisconsin. Okay. So she's always been an activist. My dad's been an activist. He's been fighting the system since I was a little kid and fighting against the government, against the governor, against the mayor when it came to racism, I'm saying, and standing up to them. So I see them as examples. But then later on, people like Chuck D from Public Enemy, I didn't know him at the time. We're friends now, but I didn't know him at the time. But listening to his lyrics was like, man, this guy is speaking with authority. He's speaking about things that I never really understood. I didn't know about Farrakhan back in the 80s. And I was like, wow, who is he talking about, And it helped to raise me in a sense of understanding more about the history that we come from and the struggle that we've been fighting against since we've been in America. And it let me know that, okay, I'm holding the torch. Like, this torch has been passed to me. Here's my chance, So I want to hold the torch up while I got the race, and then pass it to somebody else as I move forward. But, so yeah, I mean, to some extent, I think the music, and my parents and other, inspiring leaders like Marcus Garvey or Malcolm X, the MOVE organization, stuff like that. I think these people inspire me a lot.
That's what's up, man. You tuned in to Blazing Flame Radio. I'm speaking with Speech from Arrested Development. You got the new single, Living, okay, and a new project out, man. Speak on how it feels, continuing to do what you love and still be, like I say, you say you popping over the seas and things like that. Just speak on how it is to be 30 years in the game and still be relevant.
It's amazing. I mean, the truth is, it's an amazing feeling to know that, you've been able to accomplish the dream. It's an amazing feeling. I'll never forget that. And at the same time, it's a constant struggle to keep on doing music that feels relevant to you. Like what you said earlier, you said you're 35 and you're proud of the fact that you understood the movement to the 80s and the 90s. Well, I understand those too, and so when I make a song, it's got to be able to feel right to me, even if it doesn't resonate to somebody who doesn't know where I come from. So, like, there's a lot of people that just started hip-hop in the late 90s or 2000s, and that to them is their whole experience in hip-hop. Well, that's not my experience, so I have to make, when we write music as a group, it has to resonate to us from everything we've ever heard, as opposed to just what's happening right now. So it's tough to navigate those waters of making sure you sound relevant to the new generation to some extent, but also making sure you stay true to yourself as a person who's witnessed hip-hop for a long time and seen all of the different places hip-hop can go. So it's an interesting journey, you know what I mean, doing that. But yeah, the new music is incredible. I feel like it's, you know, it's to me, competitive, it's very fresh, and it's very sort of like an elder statesman, you know, like, okay, well, I'm 47, so when I speak to you, this is from my perspective.
Right.
And that's not dissing somebody younger's perspective. They got their own fresh, unique take on things too.
Right.
But check out my perspective, check out where I'm coming from. And so I talk about a lot of things on the Living song that it's just like the title says, it's living. It's like, okay, so I'm alive. I got kids now, and they tripping out. They're going through like a rebellious stage, and I got hip-hop music that I love and I fall in love with, and this is how I feel the industry has went. Then I got this going on and this going on. So I'm sort of talking about life as it is at this stage of my journey, you know. So I think it's a real honest and cool tune. And it was on the heels of us doing this Unsung episode on TV One. And, you know, on the Unsung episode, you know how TV is. They always try to be, you know, like shocking, you know. So they always sort of like capitalize on any issues or problems that a group has. And so one of the choruses, the chorus that we talk about in this record is "Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. You know, I'm just living." You know, so the whole point of the song is that people will make their mistakes, people will have their bumps, but in the next day I'm going to get up on a mission to change things and to be the best person that I could be. You know, so that's what this song is really about at the end of the day. That's what's
up, man. You got any upcoming shows? Anybody so they can come out and see?
We do. Yeah, definitely. People can go to. In fact, I'd love for every listener that likes us to go to our website right now, ArrestedDevelopmentMusic.com, and sign our guest list, because one of the toughest things for us to do as a band that was at our height, at least, in the non-internet age, is to get people to understand what we're doing now. So we want everybody to sign it, you know, sign our mailing list so we can keep you updated, because we actually do a lot of stuff right now, and most people wouldn't know it. Like, I get a lot of people on the streets and be like, "Hey, what, are y'all still doing music?" And I'm like, "Man, if only you knew. You know, we just got back from Japan 2 days ago."
Yeah.
Or if only you knew, we just performed with an orchestra 3 days ago. You know, it's like, so I want people to be up on it so they can understand what Arrested Development is up to. You know, so yeah, ArrestedDevelopmentMusic.com, sign our mailing list, and we got all of our shows up there, whether it's in this country or in other places, and you know, you can keep updated with what we're doing.
You heard them, y'all. Make sure y'all go to ArrestedDevelopmentMusic.com. I'm on the site right now. I'm about to sign the mailing list right now, bro. Right now.
There you go.
I wanna thank you, man. This has been a great interview, man. I think you very.
No, I appreciate it. You were a good interview too, man. You were a good interviewer. I appreciate it.
Man, I definitely appreciate that, man. I want you to give the song "Living" proper introduction. Let everybody know what they about to hear. We about to spin it right now.
Yo, this is our brand new track. It's called "Living." It's by Arrested Development. It's me spitting, and it's the rest of the group doing backgrounds and lead vocals on the chorus. And my man Randy Walker, produced the track. Check it out, "Living."
You tune in to Blazing Flame Radio. Flame up.
Flame Radio.
performing for a crowd to be dating me as they jam and rate me for who I was and not rate me for who I am. The lessons that we had was like 20 years in the past, and peeps within the US, they thinking that was our best and our success was just a fad. 3 hits, about all we had. Despite it, we don't get mad, and instead we just change the status. Every show, every CD, making the doubters think again. Hurricane when we came in, living like sink or swimming. We swimming since the beginning, but coverage was all on them. But we kept stroking our own way, not lovers of every trend, so we live stronger, healthier, live longer. Win against the grain, just like people that's low carbon. So we doing it, live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development, powerful. We influence in music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody shake your head, shake out the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead, come out the tombs, child. We're alive now, we're alive now, we're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living.
The more gangsters talk about dying and crack cocaine and the violence, the station saturated with it, the more our music be thriving. People compare and contrast. Whatever our beat lacks is made up by the mere fact we're the only other option. Seems like I'm an alien, 40 plus years and up. 45 is something real that the present say they don't want. So the present don't really get my presence and all my points. How I think, work, play it, and live it with aching joints. They acting like I'm dumb, including my only son, he's 16, acting like that he's going on 61. It's like as if height equals might and wisdom. He smirks like he knows what I'ma say before I'm done. He just wants to have fun, wanna eat, wanna lay, wanna shop, wanna look a certain way, wanna chill. You wanna stop that craziness. Who in this generation is raised up with pure laziness? Am I further dating us? I know it. They wanna put in their headphones, escape from the world. They wanna get up on their cell phone and relate with little girls. I can dig it to about 5 feet, 11 inches, but the last inch is where my digging stops. I don't do ditches. I won't put you to death. I brought you life through my sperm and my music. Yeah, I brought it twice, so we doing it live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development, powerful. We influence in music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey. Everybody hear me out. We are in the here and the now. Live it. So we doing it live and direct. You feel how true we is. Eyewitnesses to the beauty of life. Music is arrested development, powerful. We influence in music and revolution until we see more solutions. Hey, everybody shake your head, shake out the devil now. Lazarus, raising the dead, come out the tombs, child. We're alive now, we're alive now, we're alive now. Live it.
Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living. Every day I rise on a mission. Please forgive me if I mess up. I'm improving, living. Honey, baby, I'm just human. If the sun shines down on me today, I will try to live in a better way. Please forgive me when I'm dizzy. That's a part of living.
Blazing. Flame. Radio.